Quando Rondo has broken his silence, and the internet can't believe what they just heard. After King Vaughn's mother came forward with a shocking new claim about her son's death, one that flips the entire story upside down, fans expected anger, a meltdown, maybe even denial. But what they got from Quando was something nobody saw coming. The claim that Vaughn didn't go out the way we were told, and that certain key players have been lying to protect themselves since day one. She didn't drop names, but her words hit like bullets. They know what they did. And so does Quando. The shade? Unmistakable. Now, everyone expected Quando to clap back hard, to defend himself. Instead, his response was chillingly calm. No yelling, no threats. Just a few quiet words that made the room go silent, and left fans even more confused. His tone? Off. Mysterious. Maybe even guilty? And just when you think the tension can't go any further, Vaughn's sister jumps in. And that's when it all explodes. This isn't just another rap beef. This is family, legacy, and a truth that might finally be coming out. Let's get into it, and trust me, you're not ready. The story starts with a whisper, one quiet, nearly overlooked comment made during an interview. It was supposed to be a simple sit-down. King Vaughn's mother, Mama Vaughn, invited to a smaller podcast to reflect on her son's legacy, the pain of losing him, and how the family's been coping since his tragic death. But what she ended up saying turned the entire rap world upside down. About halfway into the interview, the host casually asked about Quando Rondo, Vaughn's well-known rival, the person connected to the night Vaughn was killed outside that Atlanta nightclub. Everyone expected the usual response, no comment, or maybe a tired sigh. But instead, Mama Vaughn leaned forward, lowered her voice, and dropped the bomb. "I just want the world to know," she said, looking straight into the camera. "My son didn't die how they said he did. And Quando knows exactly what I'm talking about." The room went dead quiet. The host froze. Even Mama Vaughn looked like she realized she'd said too much. But it was too late. That one quote, those few cryptic words, were clipped, posted, and reshared across X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and every blog that lives for drama. Fans were shocked, confused. Some were angry. Others were curious. But everyone had the same question. What did she mean? What exactly does Quando Rondo know? And why bring this up now, 2 years after Vaughn's death? Speculation ran wild. Some people thought she was talking about an inside setup. Others believed she meant that Vaughn's real enemies weren't even there that night. But the loudest voices online said just one thing: Quando needs to respond. And for 3 full days, he didn't. No tweets, no stories, no cryptic captions or sub-posts. Just silence. Until day 4. Quando Rondo finally broke his silence on Instagram Live, and what he said left everyone confused. Instead of firing back, denying everything, or even defending himself, Quando just sat there. Hoodie on. Eyes heavy. Voice low. "Y'all always want to hear me talk," he mumbled. "But maybe this time, y'all need to listen to what I don't say." The comment section went nuts. People spammed him with demands. "What don't you want to say? Bro, just admit it if you guilty. You scared of the truth? Mama Vaughn got you shook." But Quando didn't yell. He didn't break down. He didn't even show anger. Instead, he paused, stared into the camera, and said one sentence that froze the entire chat. "Sometimes, the truth don't need to be said, 'cause the people who need to know already know." And then, he ended the live. No follow-up. No context. No explanation. And that's when the theories exploded. YouTubers started analyzing the clip frame by frame. Body language experts claimed his blinking pattern showed guilt. Some fans argued he was grieving and just trying to move on. Others said he was hiding something way deeper. But one thing was clear: this wasn't just about street beef anymore. This was about truth, legacy, and secrets buried deeper than music. Then came the twist that no one expected. Vaughn's sister, Kayla B., jumped into the fire. She went live on Instagram not even 24 hours after Quando's cryptic reaction, and she didn't hold back. "Don't play coy now, Quando," she snapped. "My mama said what she said. You know something. And that's why you sitting there quiet like a little boy who got caught." She slammed her phone down mid-rant, storming around her room as she spoke, clearly heated. "This ain't no diss track drama. This my brother. You've been hiding behind silence and PR teams for too long. Say what happened that night. Tell the truth." And then she dropped her own claim. According to Kayla B., the family has texts and messages that prove Vaughn was supposed to link up with someone from Quando's crew the same night he died, but that the person in question ghosted last minute, after setting the meetup. The implication? That Vaughn was lured into a trap. Now, nobody's seen the messages. Kayla didn't post receipts. But that didn't matter to the internet. The headline alone was enough to get people spiraling. Vaughn's sister says he was set up, blames Quando Rondo's camp. The blogs ate it up. Fans who were once neutral began taking sides. Vaughn's supporters called for an investigation. Quando's fans defended him, saying the claims were baseless, manipulative, and 2 years too late. But behind the chaos, one person stayed completely silent, Mama Vaughn. Until she came back on Facebook Live, just 2 days later, and said this: "Y'all want me to shut up because I'm a mother, but maybe if more mothers spoke, we wouldn't be losing our kids." She didn't name names. She didn't go into detail. But she confirmed one thing. "Everything I said in that interview, I meant every word. And there's more. But I'm saving it for when it matters most." Now fans were convinced. Something bigger was coming. Something that could blow the whole story wide open. Meanwhile, industry insiders began whispering about a documentary being developed behind the scenes, allegedly led by a major streaming platform. Supposedly, it would include interviews with Vaughn's family, unreleased footage, and never-before-heard audio from the night he died. No official confirmation yet. But that didn't stop fans from running wild. And as if the story couldn't get more intense, another figure popped back into the picture. Lul Tim. The man who pulled the trigger the night Vaughn died. He'd been laying low for months, barely posting, rarely seen. But suddenly, on his Instagram story, he reposted a clip from Quando's live, specifically the part where he said, "Y'all need to listen to what I don't say." Then he added his own caption. "Some of y'all too loud to ever understand silence." The message? Cryptic. The timing? Perfectly messy. Was he defending Quando? Throwing shade at Vaughn's family? Or just stirring the pot? Nobody knew. But the effect was immediate. Suddenly, hashtag Justice for Vaughn started trending again. So did hashtag Quando Knew. Fans began demanding clarity, not just from Quando, but from everyone connected to that night. The pressure was mounting. Then, just when things seemed to reach their peak, Quando made a bold move. He announced he was dropping a new song. The title? Silent Truth. The cover art featured a blurred-out photo of a street corner that fans believe resembles the exact location where Vaughn died. The caption? "You waited long enough." People lost it. Was he finally about to speak? Was he about to clear his name, or confess something? Even blogs that normally ignored him started covering the story. Reactions were pouring in. Some were ready to cancel him entirely. Others said he deserved the chance to explain himself. But everyone was waiting. The moment Quando Rondo dropped Silent Truth, the internet froze. He didn't preview it. No snippets. No teasers. He just posted the link with a single caption, "Say what you want. I said what I needed to." Within minutes, the song hit YouTube and SoundCloud. Fans rushed to hear what he had to say. Was this the moment Quando finally told his side? Or was it just another deflection? From the very first few bars, it was clear, this wasn't a diss track. This wasn't rage. This was something else entirely. The beat was low, eerie. Piano keys over muffled drums. And Quando's voice? Raw. Unfiltered. He sounded like a man who'd been holding something in for way too long. In the first verse, he rapped, I ain't never claimed to be perfect / I just moved how I had to / they be talking about setup / but they ain't there when them hands move. Then. I seen too much, lost too much / thought silence would be enough / but now they paintin' pictures of me / like I'm the only one who's up. No names. No direct shots. But fans immediately connected the dots. This was a response. Not just to Mama Vaughn, but to the entire narrative that had been building online since her interview dropped. The most chilling line came near the end. If you knew what really happened, you'd cry too / but I ain't the type to tell, so now I die too. The comment sections exploded. Wait, is he saying he's protecting someone? Nah, this don't sound like a denial. That line hit too deep. WTF is going on? This might be the realest song he ever dropped. But as always, the internet doesn't let anything breathe. Kayla B was one of the first to respond. She jumped on Instagram Live again that same night, pacing back and forth in her room, clearly angry. That boy just gaslight the whole generation, she said. Talking about if you knew, you'd cry too? Say what we supposed to know then. Who you protecting? Yourself? Or the people who was really behind it? She didn't stop there. You wanna play victim now, 'cause it's convenient. But 2 years ago, y'all was in them streets laughing. Now that my mom's speaking, you poetic. The chat lit up. Kayla going off flushed face, she sound hurt, FR. Quando better stop poking this bear. But the person everyone was really waiting to hear from? Mama Vaughn. After all, it was her original claim that started this entire chain reaction. And finally, 4 days after Silent Truth dropped, she broke her silence, this time through a video posted to her private Facebook group. No makeup, no lights, no music, just her, in her living room, speaking from the heart. I listened to that song, she said quietly, and I ain't gonna lie, some of them words hit me. I felt that pain. But what you didn't say, that's what hurt most. She took a deep breath. Quando, I'm not asking you to confess. I'm asking you to stop hiding behind riddles. My son is gone. And if there's any part of you that knows why, then be man enough to say it. Out loud. With your chest. Fans flooded the comments. Some praised her for staying strong. Others said she was going too far. But the overwhelming response? People wanted answers. And then came the real twist. A former member of Quando's crew, someone who hadn't been seen publicly in over a year, suddenly popped up in a viral TikTok. In the now-deleted video, he claimed that the entire narrative from that night was cleaned up by Quando's management. He said, quote, "Y'all only saw what they wanted you to see. The footage? That was edited. The story? That was rewritten." Vaughn walked into that fight thinking it was gonna go way different. And then, most chillingly, there's messages from that night that never got released. Phones that never got turned in. The video was taken down within hours. The account? Gone. But not before fans screen recorded it and passed it around like wildfire. Suddenly, people started asking, was there more footage of that night? Who controlled the narrative? Who had the power to suppress evidence? The conspiracy theories went into overdrive. Reddit threads began pulling receipts, including rumored texts from Quando's camp, timestamps, interviews, and more. But amidst all the chaos, something even bigger was quietly brewing. A documentary. Whispers had started weeks ago, but now it was real. A major platform, allegedly Hulu or Netflix, was in talks to produce a full-length docuseries on the life and death of King Vaughn, with exclusive interviews from his family, and possibly Quando Rondo himself. Nobody had confirmed anything yet, but one thing made it very real. Mama Vaughn posted a picture of herself in front of a studio camera, holding a mic, with the caption, "The real story. Uncut." Now fans were waiting for more than drama. They wanted justice. But Quando? He wasn't done either. Just a few days later, he posted a cryptic tweet that said, "If I go out, just know I ain't never lied." Fans immediately panicked. Some said it was a suicide note. Others feared retaliation. But then he followed it up with, "Y'all gon' learn one day that silence is protection. I ain't scared of none of y'all. But I got people I do fear for." And that's when the story took its darkest turn. Because allegedly, sources close to both Vaughn's and Quando's teams began claiming that there was more going on behind the scenes than the public knew. Threats, extortion, secrets. According to one source who spoke to a hip-hop blog anonymously, there are people involved who weren't even at the scene that night, but they were pulling strings long before it happened. That same source hinted that silent truth was Quando's way of warning those people, without exposing them directly. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, Dirk's name started popping up in conversations again. Though he hadn't said a word publicly, fans started digging into old interviews, trying to read between the lines. One clip resurfaced from an old podcast where Dirk was asked if he thought the truth about Vaughn's death would ever come out. His answer? The truth always come out. Just depends if people ready to hear it. Cryptic. Chilling. Timed too perfectly. It didn't come from the rappers. Or the families. Or even the media. It came from a lawyer, civil rights attorney based in Atlanta, posted a thread saying he had been approached by a high-profile Chicago family to open a wrongful death civil investigation. He never named Vaughn. He never named Quando. But fans connected the dots instantly. And just like that, this wasn't just drama anymore. It was becoming a legal case. Which brings us to the final chapter. As word of the potential wrongful death civil investigation spread, the energy in the culture shifted. This wasn't just internet noise anymore. It had real-world consequences. Real stakes. Now the world was watching, not for music, not for clout, but for justice. And right in the middle of it all, Quando Rondo, still posting cryptic tweets, still walking a thin line between silence and subtle confession. But what nobody expected was for him to show up in person. Just days after the lawyer's thread went viral, Quando Rondo appeared unexpectedly at a small community event in Savannah, his hometown. It wasn't a concert. It wasn't a media stunt. It was a peace rally organized by local youth leaders. Phones were out. The crowd wasn't huge, but every eye was locked on him. Wearing all black, shades on, Quando stepped on stage and grabbed the mic. There was no beat, no security detail, just him. And what he said left the crowd speechless. They think if I talk, people gon' get hurt. Not me, them. Y'all keep askin' me about Vaughn, about that night, about my silence. But what you never asked was, what if I ain't allowed to speak? Gasps rippled through the audience. One woman near the front was seen covering her mouth. Others just stared in disbelief. Quando continued, "It's bigger than rap. Bigger than us. I lost people too. I just ain't have the platform to cry like they did." Then he dropped this. Vaughn wasn't my enemy. He was the only one that understood what it felt like to be used by this industry and thrown to the wolves. The crowd went dead silent. This wasn't the version of Quando fans were used to. There was no flexing, no posturing, just pain, guilt, truth, or at least his version of it. And then, the moment that took everything to another level, Quando took a folded piece of paper out of his jacket. "This right here," he said, "is a letter I wrote to Vaughn's mama. But I never had the guts to send it. So I'ma read it now." The crowd froze. He unfolded the letter, hands shaking, and began to read. "Dear Mama Vaughn, I don't expect forgiveness. I don't expect peace. But I do expect you to know the truth someday. I didn't plan that night. I didn't set him up. But I also didn't stop it. I was scared. I let ego get in the way. I let the wrong people decide how the night went. And for that, I'll never forgive myself. If I could trade places with your son, I would." The emotion in his voice cracked. You could feel the weight in every word. People in the crowd were crying. Even the local news team that showed up late captured the tail end of it, and the video went viral instantly. Blogs that once trashed Quando were now calling the speech raw, unfiltered, and the first time we've seen real emotion from him. But not everyone was buying it. Kayla B., Vaughn's sister, immediately reposted the clip with a harsh caption. "Too little too late. That man ain't write that letter when it mattered. He wrote it 'cause he's scared now." She followed up with another live. "You wanna read letters? My mama read coroner reports. My family don't get to cry on a mic for likes. We cry alone. Behind doors. We cry 'cause we got no more birthdays. No more phone calls." The comments section blew up again. The internet was divided. Quando being real, finally. Nah, he just trying to avoid that lawsuit. Kayla ain't letting up, she real for that. This ain't music no more. This real life. And then came the final bombshell. The documentary trailer dropped. Titled Vaughn, the story they tried to bury. The teaser was only 90 seconds, but it had everything. Clips of Mama Vaughn crying. Blurred messages from phones. An anonymous voiceover saying, "It was never supposed to go down like that." Grainy footage from the night of the altercation, including an angle no one had seen before. And at the end, a voice that fans instantly recognized as Quando's. "I told him, don't let it go down like this." The internet broke. #VaughnDoc was trending worldwide. Fans demanded the full series. The release date? 3 weeks away. But the question on everyone's mind? Would Quando Rondo sit down for an interview on camera and finally tell the full truth? According to producers, he's in talks. According to rumors, he already filmed it. And according to Mama Vaughn, all I want is the truth. I don't care if it makes people uncomfortable. I lost my baby. Now the world deserves to know why. So here we are. From a single cryptic sentence in a podcast, to a song, a letter, and now a full-on documentary that could expose everything about the night King Vaughn lost his life. But what's really at stake isn't just reputations. It's legacy. It's accountability. It's about whether a culture that profits from pain will ever be honest about what it costs. Was Vaughn really set up? Did Quando know more than he let on? Or is he, too, a pawn in something much darker? And where does Dirk fit into this story? Why hasn't he spoken? Why now? Why silence from people who were once louder than life? As fans, we may never know every single detail. But what we do know, the truth is leaking out. Bit by bit. Word by word. And you've got front row seats. So now it's your turn. Do you believe Quando Rondo? Was his letter genuine, or just damage control? Is Mama Vaughn being brave, or stirring up old wounds? And when that documentary drops, do you think it will finally shut the rumors down, or blow the lid off everything? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if you've been following this wild story from the beginning. And don't forget to subscribe, because this is just the beginning. More interviews are coming. More secrets might be exposed. And if the streets are talking, we're listening. See y'all in the next one. Stay safe, stay smart, and remember, legends never die, but lies always get caught.